Hello and welcome to the Empowered Couples Podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
And this episode is about 3 ways to connect more as a couple in everyday life, even when you're busy, which I will say we were
very busy
the last few days.
I mean, I would say, have a very full life all the time. And yes, we just moved this last week. I feel like we have not stopped moving our bodies from morning 5 a.m. basically till 9 p.m. for a week straight. And of course, that's not the everyday week, right? You're not moving constantly, but it definitely was one of those moments where you're like, wow, like a week can pass by. And did you even make eye contact? Did you even connect? How are you two doing as individuals and as a couple? And it just got us thinking, again, life can always feel busy. I put that up for us on our stories, is that you can keep saying, later we'll focus on us. Later we'll, make our marriage better. But right now we're focused on the kids, or we've got a lot to do. We're in our career season. We're focusing on our career goals, money goals, building that home. And you can keep putting your relationship off. Or here's the other thing that can happen. You say, well, we have our date night is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or we've got that vacation in 2 months. That's when we'll connect. So it can keep being postponed to later. But that isn't any way to live, right? We really only have this present moment. And the way we see connection, which is what we're going to cover today in these 3 ways to focus on your connection, is that it has to be a little something every day. Not these giant things. Of course, we love a date together. When we get alone time to just go do something fun, of course, that's amazing. But does that mean you do nothing for each other? Like you never take care of each other, you never take care of your relationship? We would say that doesn't work. So we are going to share these 3 practical ways that when I was thinking about our last week, even though we were going, we still focused on these. I still felt moments of connection with you. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I did. Even in your responses. So I don't want this to be too much about love account, love deposits, love withdrawals, but it is key to note that connection or building closeness, whichever one you want to go with, is happening in every interaction. Like, are you adding to or are you subtracting? And so, yes, I think you're right. This idea of, well, we're going to schedule this date night. And we hear it so many times on breakthrough sessions and coaching calls, and depending on what we're focusing on, to me, it's not the thing to hone in on because it would, take us off path a little bit. But I just think to myself, it just can't be it. Like, it just can't be about the maybe once a week date night, which for a lot of couples, even after they go on that scheduled date night, it doesn't even go that well.
Some argue
because, well, your love account is so low and you haven't been repairing throughout the week. And mostly you haven't been taking the time to build a connection in the times that you can, or not paying attention to where you're making the withdrawals. So anyway, didn't mean for this episode to be about that specifically, but you just have to realize that you are doing something. You're either adding or taking away all the time. And you just have to look for these more creative ways. So that was a way for me to answer your question of, I felt you did an amazing job of letting me be in my organization, my dictating, my not demanding my preferences, but expressing my preferences to where I want things to go, boxed up, move, put this here, put this there, not going to get that now. Jeep is literally full of stuff from Lifestyle Co., from
all these shops
that we went to, and you just wanted to get some flowers from TJ's, and I'm like, we don't have room for that. So yeah, you just really let me, have those kind of little quick moments, and that was one thing that actually stood out to me.
Yes, and I think it's important to note as well that when we have kids, which I know not all of our listeners do, but people think that you just have to keep sacrificing your relationship. We'll see people comment that on social media, like, oh, okay, yeah, it must be nice when you don't have kids. And we're like, first of all, we do have a kid. And we still stay connected because kids need to see that. So sure, are we really, focused on our daughter and in a busy season? Yes, but we also are showing her with everything that we do what healthy love and what healthy marriage and partnership looks like. And it's important that kids see those little moments of connection and involve them in it, which will be part of the ways we describe this today. But because it's timely, I want to make sure that all of you know. So the day after this episode is published is the beginning of our next 30-day couples challenge. And it's just so exciting to read testimonials from you. So if you haven't experienced this, you have to, because the prompts are so realistic but meaningful. So it's 30 daily prompts, and you'll get one of 3 prompts, either a conversation starter, which it's an approachable but meaningful question to ask each other, different than the typical, like, how was your day kind of questions. You're going to get love deposits, so little sweet ways to show each other that you appreciate each other, that you love each other, and different than the average thing you might be doing. And then also communication tips, because every single couple wants to focus on improving their communication.
Yeah, and you get those in an email for 30 straight days. And this is our, what we're now calling level 1 or prioritizing us challenge, which is about this topic here. It's about how in your daily life you not just take the time through your interaction, you do make a love deposit and you can add to each other's love account. Now, this is the second month in a row that we also now have our advanced challenge, which is called Rebuilding Us.
Yep.
So if you've gone through this first one, prioritizing us, then you feel as if it's time to step into something more advanced where you're going to talk about repair, rebuilding,
Foundation builders.
non-negotiables, foundation builders. You're going to get these prompts in your email that are really like coaching, as if you were messaging us on our phone. If you're in coaching with us and you're messaging us, this is like coaching to your email.
Exactly. So you can choose the level 1 prioritizing us challenge or the level 2 rebuilding us challenge. Both of those will be linked at meetthefreemans.com/links, and you should see those as the top 2 buttons. And with that, I want to go into the first way that you can focus on more connection. And I had this vivid moment of standing in one of these shops. I mean, I think we have gone to like 15 stores in the last week for this move. And we were standing there in the aisle. And I felt this moment where we were just flirting. And it wasn't a cute store. It wasn't a cute moment, right? Like in terms of we weren't at this romantic dinner, but we were flirting. And I just felt this moment. It dawned on me right in that moment, like, this is life. These are the moments that you can choose to just be getting things done, not that engaged, not that fun and flirty, or you can do it a fun, flirty, engaging way. So here we are picking out like truly like probably cleaning supplies is what we were getting, but we were touching each other. We were flirting. We were making funny remarks. And that's the first way that we are providing for you is make those just normal mundane moments special and sweet and flirty and be engaged with each other. Because again, it's not about relying only on dates and romantic nights to be engaged. So those mundane moments, can you be cleaning up your kitchen with a nice song on that you guys enjoy and kind of be grazing each other's back or butt as you walk by and making great conversation with them and complimenting them and being flirty? Like think about the days that you guys were dating. You flirted in some way, right? Even if you felt a little dorky while you were doing it.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing this up because it means what I was doing was making a difference. And if I was to just generalize it, because it wasn't like I was thinking, let me find ways for closeness and connection to be developed here. However, my mindset was more about like intention and then way of being. So for those that are familiar with personal development, I think it just comes down to that, right? If you wake up or you even go into a different segment of your day, like we were moving stuff out of a truck and then we went to the store. And you can either have the attitude and the energy that you had while moving flow into the next one at the store and then the next one back at the house and the next one at dinner. And if you were in a poor mood, it's just like it just seeps into the rest. Or you can realize that segments of your day, segments of activities can be this line of delineation for you to reset your attitude or reset your intention, which ultimately from a personal development is like, what's my way of being here? And whichever the store is, I'm not even sure which store because we went to so many, I realized that there have been times where I've gone to the store with you and I have a max capacity. And there are certain stores we
You're
go
ready to
into and
leave.
you're like, oh, this and this. I'm like, that's not even what we came in here for. But knowing that we were moving into a new house, that this doesn't happen all the time, that we built this one and we chose everything in it and it was special, I just set my mindset that let this time at the store be different for Jocelyn. And then it would turn out for myself too. And let me just go with the flow. Let me not be limited by my own internal clock countdown again, right? Like, that's not what we came here for. Like, can't we just leave? Because that would take away from our connection and closeness.
Yeah.
So it's really, for me, a place from intention, but I think I'm a lot better at, let me think about this. Okay, going to the store, dinner, bath time, starting the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this can go one of two ways. I can either kind of have a bad attitude or a poor attitude, or be tired or be disengaged. And then that's going to likely have withdrawals happen. It's certainly not going to lead to connection. Or I can have a mindset and attitude and way of being that brings connection and closeness.
Yes, exactly. So just to recap that one and we'll move on. Way number 1 is focus on being flirty, engaging, and fun in everyday mundane moments that you're experiencing. So the second way to focus on more connection in your everyday life is to switch up the routine even a little bit, okay? And focus on mini experiences together, whether you can get that alone or bring your kids along with you. So some things that I wrote down as we were thinking about this: if you normally pick up the kids and then go right home, and then you're like, okay, it's homework time and dinner and then clean up, instead say, you know what? Let's all go to our favorite dessert place. Just switch it up a little bit and have that be a spark for you, for as a couple or again as a family. If you normally just watch a show at night, invite your partner to have some tea or wine or whatever you prefer to drink. Like, that can feel like, wow, that was a special evening together. We did something different besides watching the show.
I do want to underscore that because you said special, and I think a lot of times couples think you have to do something more grand for it to feel special. But as you're talking and as I'm thinking about our own day, I think connection and closeness is so much easier. It's just not doing the same thing.
Like getting out of the
really,
routine.
just if you look at your week in the evenings, it's probably the same thing, and it's probably the same week to week, month to month, almost
Groundhog Day.
And yeah, it's just, yes, we know we're creatures of habit. We really thrive on routine and structure. It's how we run this business by ourselves, basically. And there's just thinking, let me do this differently.
Right.
Let me just not have it go the same way that it always goes. And in that mindset, it opens you up. Like, your mind now knows, oh, this isn't just the same thing. I'm not just going to be on autopilot. And your brain actually starts looking for new things naturally. Oh, I'm doing something different. Oh, and your
more alert
attention and your awareness and your focus comes out here to things you wouldn't have noticed, and opens up opportunities for actions, for comments, for conversation with your partner that wouldn't have happened unless you changed that particular routine.
So even another one could be, if you normally hit snooze a bunch of times, Monday through Friday, for example, get up and
oh boy, challenging some people here.
Get up earlier and make a nice breakfast, or even just coffee, or go get their favorite coffee. Get your family their favorite little scones or breakfast, and surprise everyone. Again, whether that's just you and your partner or your entire family, just that little moment can feel like, wow, that wasn't like a normal Monday, or that wasn't a normal Friday. Now, if you want to go a little bigger, so this is not the average thing, but we just got a golf cart, you guys. Okay.
It's so fun.
This has been a dream of ours. I know it might sound like a funny little quirk or something like that, but we've wanted a golf cart. We just think that it's so fun. Like, you don't even have to be doing anything besides riding around your neighborhood, and it's a good time, and you're waving at people. So we got one moving into this new home because we were like, you guys heard our episode probably right before this about overcoming our trials. And it was a symbol of excitement and what we have overcome. So anyway, if you want to go a little bigger, you could get a fun toy, whether it is a golf cart like us, or it could be just as simple as chairs that you like to sit out in your yard.
Oh yeah.
Or you've maybe always wanted a jet ski, or maybe you just want bikes. Like, maybe if you just got bikes, beach cruisers, you would actually get outside more on the weekends.
Mhm.
So whatever it is, how can you just focus on experiences and it not being all about the routine and the to-dos?
Mhm. So let's just bring us around with the third way here, and it's asking better questions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably something you get out of, date books or the date subscription boxes. And that's certainly a way to go, I think, to get prompts of types of questions like that. Certainly in our challenge, Prioritizing Us, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get questions that are going to bring connection and communication.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to give you just a few here. You do have to try to go beyond the typical how was your day, right? And the question how really just
Yeah.
invites an answer of fine,
Fine.
or not even fine, just default, right? Just a
Busy.
default
Mm.
answer. And it kind of goes to the routine, right? When you're in the routine, your brain is more or less on autopilot
Mm-hmm.
because you've been here, you've done this. And it's the same with questions. If you're getting or giving the same questions, you're not really helping your partner's brain in thinking about anything beyond their standard day and
And
how
it's
it went.
also not putting a lot of effort in, let's be real,
Yeah,
right? Like,
getting
sure,
right to
it's
it.
nice to like ask your partner how their day was, but it's not really showing that you're putting effort into understanding them, connecting them, get a sense of their life.
Mhm. So some other questions might be something like, what's been most rewarding in your work lately?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about blank?
So in that blank, you could insert something you know is important to them right now, whether they're focusing on a certain goal, or that they've been stressed about something in their life, or that they've been excited about a certain topic. So it's showing that you're also paying attention.
Mhm. Even some things like using different words, cue words like imagine.
Mm.
So you could be talking to your partner and say, you know what, put everything aside and just imagine. And then paint a picture and then ask a follow-up question, right? So imagine that we had all the money in the world and no bills and we could do anything that we want. What would you want to do? Right? So just something that starts to have you think more of the future or again beyond the routine, beyond the day-to-day.
I even was thinking about your parents came in town to help us move, which was so awesome. And we were driving, and I was like, this could be one of those moments where we just have an okay time. But I was
Mm.
like, I want to get to know them a little bit. And
Oh,
so I
that's why you were
said,
asking them.
what's a bucket list
Yeah.
experience that you haven't done yet? And so they both answered.
Mm.
We also answered. And so you could ask just your partner that. You could also ask your entire family. Again,
Mm.
think about these are definitely things that you can focus on with your partner. But if you do have kiddos around and you have a lot of time with them, think about dinner time, even like what you can ask your partner and your kids at dinner that has you all feel connected. So, another good question is like, hey, what was most challenging about today and what did you learn?
Hmm. And then last question, which really comes from not only the challenge, but also our family meeting guides. And this is going to be a little bit more challenging, if you will. How can I be an even better partner for you?
Mm.
And if you're going to ask that, just be willing to hear whatever you're going to hear and just say, okay, got it. And then watch if you actually did that the next day, the difference that would make.
And you might not ask something like that when you're just running errands. Like that's a bigger question that you do want to do at those intentional times, like an evening walk together or doing the family meeting check-in, which if you have not started that practice, like if you're a new listener here, definitely start with the family meeting, which by the way, that is a bonus gift when you sign up for the Prioritizing Us level 1 couples challenge that we talked about. So there's another reason to join. You get our popular family meeting guide. So we wanted to provide you these ways that you can connect in your everyday life. We know you're busy. We know you have a lot going on in your lives, but don't miss out on sprinkling in connection and closeness no matter what, because your relationship matters. So we hope you took a lot away from this. We're excited to be in our new house, you guys, recording our episodes here. And we're excited for all of you starting our challenge. Again, go to meetthefreemans.com/links to sign up for either the level 1 or the level 2 challenge. With that, we will talk to you guys on the next episode.